I mean, Riley Cooper, I mean, like, that dude deserves a statue. I mean, like,
number one on your speed dial.
Hey, I'll tell you what, like, I mean, I didn't know until a couple days after the fact. I was like, wait a minute, is he the MVP or like we got the all tournament team?
No doubt about it.
And then Ty Floyd, when I struck out 17, and like stole it from him. But I was like, when has a pitcher like been a part of like 5 of the 6 wins in Omaha? I mean, what a performance!
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you for the time.
Pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Sharp a little late, boys, at the spring game, obviously, as you can see. Couple of booze cruises here to do. Let's do it. Cruise. Grand salami to the boys. Finally back on track. And I got another one coming. Don't you think I don't? And that's how we roll in Tiger Stadium.
Just watching the spring games that were on television, one thing that jumped out about your squad is your quarterback room is very talented compared to a lot of the league and a lot of the country. I wonder, is it easier to recruit that position when you have talent or when you don't have talent? Coach Kelly, we're official.
Finally,
I'm
get a
telling
chance to meet you. Thought I had to get a private audience with the Pope. There's Jordy.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Tearing up, answering the question, I thought, my God, if she gets offered this job, she's going to take it.
It's just a crazy, fun time at LSU right now. Isn't this what everybody loves?
From the boot to the east to the west coast, no matter where we at, we live. Open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show. Yeah.
Let's go! Let's go!
All right.
Nice start. Big day.
Nice start.
It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you for the time. All right, welcome into a Monday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. As always, live here from our Click Here digital campus here on Interline Avenue in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in between Drusilla and Airline. Online at clickheredigital.com. Daily, we're built by RMB Builders, our friends over at RMB Builders, Rhett Bourgeois. You can find them online at rmb-builders.com and RMB Builders on at Instagram. I have to get in touch with Rhett this week about a little job coming up that we got at the old spot over on Government Street and get that place closed up and keys handed off to the new tenant over there. So make sure you jump online if you don't mind and hit that like button, share button, comment button as we wake up here on this Monday and Ole Miss is still scoring on LSU after a wild weekend for South Louisiana sports fans. It did not get any better as you clicked on your television yesterday and saw the New Orleans Saints fall to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 26-9 behind just a disgusting offensive performance. I mean, one that was just from nightmares. As bad as LSU's defense was on Saturday night, the New Orleans Saints offense was as bad on Sunday afternoon. So for Louisiana sports fans, Saints, LSU fans alike, it was a rough football weekend. That's why we're going to open up the phone lines and we're going to take your reaction this morning just like we do every single Monday. Remember the phone number over here. You can get in touch with us just by dialing 707-400-5575. 707-400-5575 is the phone number. Type that in. That is the Culotta Show. We'll start taking your calls somewhere around 7:45 and 8 o'clock and in through the second hour as LSU is still in the top 25, barely hanging on for dear life as they come in at 24th out of 25 after a just devastating loss over the weekend. One that, after the dust has settled here in the college football weekend, it is being talked about and discussed from a nation standpoint. And look, the egg continues to get wider on LSU's defensive face as the further you get away from this game. I mean, I've heard Matt House's salary announced, quoted on a couple of podcasts. I've heard just the inability to get guys in the right position, guys that are wondering why particular players are playing over certain players. You know, I mean, it's good to hear that from a regional, a country, a nation standpoint of people who are watching and following college football, because the more you watch LSU play, you go back and watch that film, the more head-scratching it really is in trying to figure out what the hell is going on defense. Because you could go to the top 100 defenses in college football and ask them, hey, would you like Mekhi Wingo? Would you like Mason Smith? Would you like Harold Perkins? Would you like Greg Penn? Would you like Denver Harris? And unanimously, I don't care where they are in the rankings, I don't care where they are as far as they go with their team, all of them are taking those guys. It ain't a talent issue. They are not coaching these guys up and giving themselves the best chance to win. When I went back and watched that game for the second time, it is so frustrating to think that Deshaun Womack is not on the field for LSU. And they're about to screw around and lose this kid. Because I've had people reach out to me over the last 24 hours, people that are close, players, parents, people that are close to the situation, and people are pissed. People want answers. And they can't get them. And just as frustrating as it is for you and I who are, you know, you're fans of the program, we cover the program and just wondering what's going on, so are people that are close to the situation. It's an issue at LSU right now on just what's the deal on defense? Why don't people know what they're supposed to be doing? Where's the communication? Where's the development? And I mean, things like Whit Weeks not playing the first half and Deshaun Womack not logging a defensive snap and not putting guys in the best position to win the game is things that are haunting this program right now. And not just for people like us who are talking about it. People that are in it day to day. People that are talking to their parents who we're talking to. I mean, you win at this level with players like Deshaun Womack. You win at this level with players like Denver Harris. You win at this level with players like Harold Perkins. If they lose those types of players from the program, you can't compete against what's going on around you. I mean, if you're paying attention to the SEC right now, Texas A&M, they've got the best defensive line in football. Forget the priority. college or pro. The last 2 weeks, they've got 30 tackles for loss and 14 sacks. I mean, they got 7 pros on their defensive line. Deshaun Womack is one of 3 pros that you have on your defensive line, and he doesn't play? After a weekend where he plays 5 snaps, the next game up, he doesn't log a rep, and there's no explanation to it? That's the stuff where you start losing players, man. You start losing your locker room. You start losing the trust. And that stuff's internally, they have to watch out for that. Trauma 68. Harris is one of the disappointments on Saturday, and Jordy's still pumping him up. No, I'm not. But what else do you have, man? All of this stuff about going back and forth on Denver Harris on whether or not you want him on the field or not, who else are you going to put out there? Because you got to just ride with those guys, especially at that position. It's like the LaTerrence Welch situation on Saturday. You turn on the first drive of that game, Welch makes 2 plays that you've rarely seen the cornerback spot make, where he defends the pass, makes a good tackle within the 10, and then does he give up passes? Does he give up Yeah, that's the nature of the position. And when the guy's playing on the road for the first time in his life at the college level, there has to be an expectation of, hey, he's going to mess up. And if he does, do you yank him and chew him out and put him on the sideline and then regress him? Or do you coach him up in the situation and put him back out there knowing that if he's not the best you have, he's only one of guys that compete today? I mean, all this stuff on Denver. Do I think Denver Harris is playing at a 5-star level? No. Do I think that Denver Harris is one of the best cornerbacks on the team? Yes. Is that saying a lot? No. But they got to play him. All this going back and forth, putting him in, taking him out. Let these guys play. Just put them out there and let them develop and play. Take the good with the bad. If it's going to be Zy Alexander and Denver Harris, keep them out there. If it's going to be LaTerrence Welch and Denver Harris or Zy Alexander, keep them out there. Let them play. Deshaun Womack, 5 snaps here, no snaps the next week. Where is the development? That's a true, that's a sincere curiosity from people. How are they getting better? You got a defense that gives up over 700 for the first time in Ole Miss's history. They have a 300-yard passer and a 300-yard rusher, or a 300 yards rushing and 300 yards passing. Try something else. I mean, where is Quincy Wiggins? Where is that guy? He looks like a Greek god. Getting off the bus. Well, he can't get to the scheme. Teach him something that he can get then. That is coaching. That is on the coaches. That you let a player like that just sit and rot. He's just sitting there. And you're allowing 700 yards of offense. Put him on the field. Just see what happens. Just see what happens. He's 6'7", 240. He looks like LeBron James getting off the bus. He's got to be able to do something, right? Especially on a unit that cannot stop anything. Nothing. No one. I mean, they had their backs up against the wall with the game on the line. Ole Miss got down the field in 4 plays. I mean, I just, with the way that, LSU gets shoved around, with the way that they get, out of position, out of space, guys not making plays, man, we got to, you got to just exhaust every resource you got. Put them out there. How do you go 4 quarters in Oxford and just look at Deshaun Womack on the sidelines? And again, if you put Deshaun Womack into the lineup, I'm not saying that LSU turns into a top 10 defense, but just one stop. Just one stop. That's all you needed. Just one stop. And you win the game. They're up 10 in the fourth. I mean, I don't know, man. I just...
Somebody said they would have Tyron sitting out.
I mean, really?
Too small.
I mean, it's like it's like Whit Weeks watching the first half of that game. I'm serious. That is insubordination. Like, really. I don't call for people's job. I think it's, I mean, they're human beings. They got people. They got family. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, what in the hell are you watching to let that guy sit on the sidelines while your defense is getting manhandled, bullied, pushed around? I mean, like, that's embarrassing for that performance. And you just let guys like Whit Weeks sit and watch? Deshaun Womack just sit and watch? And it's because they didn't pick up their smoothie on time in the nutrition center? I mean, really? At the end of it, what's the purpose? I want Deshaun Womack to be a responsible citizen when he leaves LSU. Moreover, I'd like him to be the sack leader. I'd like him to be a part of LSU winning football games. It doesn't necessarily piss me off if he's the last in line to pick up his smoothie from the nutrition center. Or that he might be 1 or 2 minutes late for the team meal. I get what you're trying to build. I understand the mentality that they're trying to create. But at the end of it, it's about winning football games, man. And if you're going to go to Oxford for 4 quarters and allow an offense to put up 700 yards of total efficiency against you, and just look at Deshaun Womack standing on the sidelines, and look at Quincy Wiggins just standing and watching, and allow Whit Weeks to sit for a half of football, what are you watching? What are you doing? What's the purpose? Why aren't those guys out there? Those guys give you the best chance to win. I mean, is everybody pulling in that direction? I think there's a curiosity there. Really? I mean, I don't get it. I mean, you go back and watch that game for a second time. I mean, I just, what are they doing on some situations of like the personnel and the management of the game? And it's like, does anybody, I watched Alabama on Saturday night. Nick Saban nearly had an aneurysm Saturday night. He got in the ass of players. He got in the ass of coaches. He was on his headset. He was chewing his microphone. He was slamming his headset down. He was getting in people's, like going and meeting players out on the hash mark and like in their ear hole until they were on the sideline. To a degree, I kind of thought LSU was getting that when they hired Brian Kelly. Like, I kind of thought that's who he was. In fact, when we interviewed him, I told him, I was like, man, I was kind of wrong about you. I thought you were a screaming, red-faced, profanity-laced coach that didn't take any BS from anything. I'd rather that. I'd like him to see, I kind of like to see somebody lose their cool and throw a headset. Or getting somebody when they jump off sides out of a timeout. Or have some type of like emotion towards the defensive staff to say, fellas, turn your headsets off. Y'all are done for the night. Y'all aren't calling another play. If I've got to see one more player with their hands in the air, if I've got to see one more missed assignment, if I've got to see one more series of the players that should be on the field watching from the sideline, you're done. It's over for you tonight. I mean, some type of consequence to say, hey, fellas, somebody's got to earn their check. I mean, how many times can people just be running by themselves? How many times can one person be in zone, this guy be in man, that guy be playing some type of stunt that the other guy doesn't know what's going on? I mean, what the hell is going on? Isn't it fair to ask? It's the 5th game of the season. It's the 5th game. I mean, like, the Pete Jenkins stuff. Okay, cool. It's the 5th game of the season. What you going to do? I mean, really, what you going to do? You going to teach you hand placement? You going to teach you, really? I mean, Pete Jenkins is as decorated and as respected and as good of a defensive line coach as there is out there. But this is the type of move that should have been made when Jimmy Lindsey was rushed to the hospital. Right? I mean, I commend it. I get it, but my expectation on it is very low on what it's going to mean for the production of the defense. You know, I mean, I really wonder, like, what, I mean, people saying ask it at the press, it was asked. You know, I mean, it's not like people aren't asking. I mean, he was asked about Deshaun Womack. He was asked about Deshaun Womack after the game. He was asked about Whit Weeks after the game. In fact, we've got some sound bites. Let's get to him, Stewie. Here's Brian Kelly after the game on Saturday, speaking with the press. This is number 2 about the defensive struggles.
Did you watch the game? Okay. We were in position. We didn't make the plays that we needed to make. I mean, those guys were either one-on-one or, you know, in a position to make a play, and Ole Miss was better.
Stanley Reed, Jordy, do you rather him do nothing? You complain about the goofiest stuff. If he did nothing, you would be upset. If he'd done something, you're upset. What has he done? What did he do? I want him to play the best players. I don't want another week to go by where Deshaun Womack doesn't log another defensive snap. To me, that's insubordination. That's not doing anything. Whit Weeks is the best linebacker on this team. Quit taking him off the field. Whoever the top 2 cornerbacks are, they can decide. Everybody knows where I believe Denver Harris, and I would play a combination of LaTerrence Welsh or Zy Alexander, whichever one they want to go with. Whichever one they want to go with, put them out there and let them play. You can't take guys in and out of the game, especially at the cornerback spot, and allow them or expect them to get a rhythm of what they're doing and push these guys up on the corner. Both of those guys, specifically like Harris and Welch, if those are going to be the guys, they come out of a man-to-man system. That's what they were recruited for. That's what they do best. They don't play zone. They're not effective in zone. So to me, good coaching is defined as, hey, I have a system. My system is whatever you do best. That to me is good coaching, not somebody that says, this is my system, you don't fit it, sorry. I mean, asking these guys to do something that they obviously don't do well is, again, insubordinate to say, let's keep doing it. So Stanley, I'm asking them to make the changes to put their guys in the best chance to win. If that's a goofy argument, all right. But to me in football, that makes a lot of sense. And when you keep showing up to a football game and putting guys in the wrong position and playing the wrong guys and giving up over 700 yards of offense and can't get one stop when you just need one to win the game, something's got to give. You know what I mean? Something's got to change, right? So I'm asking for change. You know what I mean? Like, put the guys out there that would give you the best chance to win. Like, that's the type of stuff at the ground level of it that's just like, what's the difficulty here? You know? And I ask, if it's not going to be Denver Harris at cornerback, if it's not going to be Whit Weeks at linebacker, if it's not going to be giving Deshaun Womack some snap, who else is it? Who else is it? Because the guys that are out there are giving up 700 yards of offense. So, you know, like, either live and die with what you have and commit to something that those guys can do well, or keep breaking records every week of giving up total offense. Keep allowing the school that you play to set their school record of, LSU just rewrote the offensive books over at Ole Miss. You now go through the statistical leaders of from a team individual standpoint in the history of the program. LSU's on the top byline over at Ole Miss. That's just going to continue to happen, it seems like. So, we'll take your phone calls here coming up. If you've got a better suggestion, if you've got a better idea, please. I am open to it. I would love to hear it. Go back and watch the game for the second and third time. It is truly just frustrating how they just sit and just do not change, keep the same personnel, running the same stuff, and giving up the same. It was just toss left, toss right. Toss left, toss right.
Fake the toss, QB draw. Play action.
Wide receiver screen, set up. You get LSU's DBs in a one-on-one, they just...
Probably going to win every time.
The tackling's not there. They're off the ball 10, 12 yards. The scheme's no good. I'm not saying that it's solely 100% on the coaches. Guys are in position. Sometimes they just don't make the play. I'm not asking Brian Kelly to strap up and throw a helmet on and go out there and make a tackle. Sometimes, you're in the position. You got to make the play, man.
Every team LSU's played this year has run that bubble screen. They see the safety playing off. They see the corner playing off. Outside receiver takes the outside corner, one-on-one with the safety, and he makes a miss 9 out of 10 times. We talked about this yesterday, and I believe this to be, and by the way, Ja Eugene is going to be on our show tomorrow morning at 7:30. And I talked to him a little bit, over the week, amongst other people. I've talked to players on the current team, parents of current players on the team, former players in the program, former coaches in the program, all over the last 24 hours. There is true concern of what's the direction, what's the deal, right? Look, LSU offensively, there's no way in the world that you should lose a game where you put up over 600 yards, score 49 points, your two wide receivers go over 100 yards, which, by the way, that's the first time that's happened for as much success as 2019 saw. And, again, that was a team that, rewrote all the record books. They never had back-to-back weeks where they had two receivers go over 100 yards. Think about that. Terrace Marshall, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Thaddeus Moss, Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Reuben Randall,
Wendell Davis. Way back. Josh Reed, Michael Clayton. Never has LSU had back-to-back weeks where receivers have gone, two of them have had over 100-yard performances. LSU just did that. This offense it's the best in the country. I really believe that. I believe if you have to have it, it will show up. It is the best in the country. And when you stack up the numbers right now to the NCAA leaders, LSU is in the top 3 of every category that matters. Right now, the NCAA leaders in total offense is Michael Penix Jr. at Washington, who's having a just incredible season. Right now, he is responsible for 2,008 yards of total offense. Second on that list is Jaden Daniels with 2,002. The top 3 passers in college football after week 5, Penix Jr. has 1,999 yards. Shedeur Sanders has 1,781. Third on the list, Jaden Daniels has 1,710. This offense is as good, as electric, as powerful, as potent as any offense in the country. And they're pissing it away with one of the worst defenses that the program has ever seen.
ever. Bo Pelini, 2000. Lou Tepper in the 90s. That's as far back as I can go from a historical reference. But, I mean, those are benchmark, horrible defenses. And this one is, like, hold my beer to both of them. Like, I mean, like, watch this. I don't. They've tried, they seemingly are trying things, but they don't stick with it. It seems like they don't have a plan. It's just it doesn't feel directed. It doesn't feel like there is something on the horizon that makes it want to, improve, get better. I mean, they're continuously getting worse each week. And you're going into a spot in Missouri right now where their quarterback Cook is cooking. I mean, like, they are feeling themselves right now at Missouri. This thing is going to be a Super Bowl for them. Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Go Roof. Online, GEAUX, roof.com is where you can find our friends over at Go Roof, or you can dial them up, 225-927-8300. 225-927-8300 is the phone number to get in touch with Go Roof. Over 15 years of experience from the pros over at Go Roof. They'll jump up on the roof for you today. They'll diagnose the problem. They'll tell you what's going on. And they will work directly with the insurance company, so they'll take all the headaches out for you. You get a 2-year free workmanship guarantee with all new roof installations. You can learn all about roof repair, commercial roofing, residential roofing, just by logging online with our friends at Go Roof at GEAUXroof.com, GEAUXroof.com. They're open 24 hours, man. You can call them at any time, 225-927-8300, 225-927-8300. Free quotes available. They've got the roof inspections for you. Over 15 years of experience, like we tell you. They've got a dedicated team, licensed and insured professionals that have the reputation for exceptional roof installation, repair, and inspection services for Baton Rouge and the entire South Louisiana market. Online, GEAUXroof.com. GEAUXroof.com is where you can find them online. Really, when you think about this offense, there is nothing to complain about. The only thing that you would say, man, the other night I thought, they would have done a little bit better was at the end of the game when they got the ball back with about 3.5 minutes. They ran 3 plays in 36 seconds, which I thought was just nothing. You don't really point that at the all. Here's the deal with Jaden Daniels. I think that Jaden Daniels is, for as much as he's talented, and he's one of the most talented quarterbacks in college football. We just reeled off the numbers. I mean, you got to be a talented dude to be able to do that week in, week out. He's as smart, right? I mean, that Brian Thomas touchdown where he knew he had the offsides on Ole Miss, making that throw towards. I mean, we've seen him do that before, but just his he does need to learn how to get down. I mean, that was another big part of the weekend. I thought it was the play of the game. I would say that the turnover was the play of the game on Saturday because, it was clear that Lane Kiffin, he had a plan. Kiffin's plan was to run LSU's defense down. Ole Miss came into that game averaging 64 plays a game. 65 plays a game. They ran 88 on Saturday versus LSU. For comparison's sake, they ran 64 versus Alabama a week ago on Saturday. They ran 88 versus LSU in Oxford. That was a plan. You saw it early. You saw it on the first drive. Their tempo was moving at a warp speed. I mean, they were setting the football, snapping the football, getting their yards, setting the football, snapping the football. They were back on the ball. You could see LSU early. I mean, it's out on Mason Smith. He is out of shape. Run him. That is what Lane Kiffin saw it on film, put that down, and said, look, by the time you get to the fourth quarter, they're going to be dragging, and we're going to be able to pull away with this thing. If you look at the fourth quarter numbers, what was the scoring chart?
21-7.
21-7. Ole Miss outscored LSU. And LSU had a chance, I thought, at the end of the game to really bleed that clock offensively. And that's one of the things that you talk about Jaden Daniels, and he is as smart as he is good. So, by looking at the sideline and really blaming the coaching, sure, it falls there, but Daniels is a smart enough player too where he has to recognize that. So there's not, he doesn't get out of there scot-free, but look, man, Jaden Daniels is, he did everything, the offense did everything they could to win that game. They deserve to win that game. But that just goes into the management of it. It goes back to that of, come on. You got to know that you can't run 3 plays in 36 seconds because your defense is dead. And if they get back on the field, you can't stop them. Right? You've shown all night that, it was going to be the last team with the ball was going to win. I thought Chris Hilton was going to make that catch, man.
He was close.
He
got his hands on it.
If we're in film, catch it.
Yeah.
In the film room, I think the coach, the ball hit him in the hit
him in the hands.
It was a beautiful throw. It was a beautiful play for Daniels to stay alive. To spin out of the sack. He created more ground, set his feet, squared his shoulders. I was like, you got a chance.
Yeah,
you got a shot. And then, look, Chris Hilton is a state champion high jumper.
Oh, he was up there.
He got, I was like, if there was anybody who was going to jump up and catch that thing, it was going to be 1-7. Man, I thought he was going to be a hero.
I thought he was going to score that
drag play route. Before. I thought he was gone.
By people.
He turned it up for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Offense right now is top 3 in the country in every statistical category that matters. Your quarterback is in top 2 statistical categories at everything that matters. You've got the best 2 wide receivers. You've got the best combination of wide receivers. If you don't have the best combination, you've got just as good as Washington's combo with Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas. Thomas leads the country in touchdown catches. Malik Neighbors is second in the country in yards. Secret's out on Neighbors. I think he'll start seeing bracket coverage every week. They'll be trying to take him out of the game, which works for Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas is making a ton of cash. 2 weeks ago, I was hoping that he might come back. 2 weeks later, he might be a top 10 pick.
Oh, Jesus.
He is just eating every week.
Beating people like a drum, too.
Yes. But, LSU had their chances. That was the game, though, that you got no business winning. I remember if you remember the Bluegrass Miracle, they got beat the next week, and they deserved to get beat. Or they got beat a couple weeks later by Arkansas in the same type of scenario. They didn't deserve to win that game. And Saban in his post-game press conference, or I believe it might have even been his on-the-field interview, lost it. It was he lost his cool because the sideline reporter wanted to celebrate, what a win, what a great day for LSU, we got no business winning that game, right? He was pissed, and that's how I would have felt about LSU if LSU would have pulled that off at the end. You would have given that win back somewhere. Yep. You know what I mean? The football gods would have not letting you gotten away with that if you're gonna win like that. LSU had no business winning that game with as bad as they played on defense. It sucks for the offense because the offense, look around. College football is a vulnerable sport right now. This thing is wide open. Auburn just ran the ball flat at Georgia on Saturday. Just lined up and ran it right at them. Right down right at them. And I thought our friend Josh Pate said it best. Brock Bowers is the best team in the country. Take Brock Bowers off that team, man, and Georgia is in some trouble. Point being, it's not Georgia's championship to start engraving their name on the trophy just yet. This thing is wide open, and it sucks for LSU because you got a defense. You have an offense that you could play anybody. You could beat anybody with this offense. If you just had a below average defense, you could be okay. But it's historically bad. It's historically bad. I saw where Georgia Tech, did you see this? They made an in-season move. Georgia Tech, they demoted their defensive coordinator, Andrew Thacker, and they named Kevin Shearer its sole defensive coordinator. Again, I'm not advocating for anybody to lose work and be out or any of that stuff. But there has to be some internal discussions of what's going to happen. And it can't all be the 82-year-old Pete Jenkins that's coming in to save it. I mean, I love Coach Jenk, and he is decorated and reputable and is probably the best defensive line coach maybe in the history of football. If he's not, he's in the discussion. I mean, like, his Rolodex is crazy. I think he coached like Lombardi, man. I mean, like, he's got crazy type stories. But, you know, I mean, like, if you're pushing all your chips into that corner.
It would take an average defense, like a very average. That 2019 defense wasn't world beaters. Like, they were.
Yeah, exactly.
Wasn't the greatest defense ever.
That's a great compare. But you know what? They did things well. Like, they took the ball away.
They took the ball away. They tackled in space.
Right.
Like, little things.
That's the thing. Like, with this LSU defense is like, what do they do well?
Nothing.
What do they do good? Like, give me some. They don't get after the quarterback.
I actually talked to another former player yesterday too, Harry Coleman, and I asked him. I was like, "What do you see that LSU does well? What do they do well defensively?" And he said, "I really can't point out one thing to tell you that they do well."
I mean, really. Cole Van Zant, LOL at the way Jordy hints at shit. Shake my head. Ask me directly. What do you want to know? I mean, ask me directly what you want to hear me comment on. I mean, I'm not trying to play coy with you. You know, I mean, hit me, Cole. Or call in. In fact, we're about to open up the phone lines. Let's do that next. Phone lines are open. You can call in. Have a take. Don't suck. I saw somebody commenting in the chat yesterday. Like, what does have a take? Don't suck mean? It means like when you call in and you're on the line. If you can hear us, we can hear you. No need to ask, can you hear me? No, we got you. If you can hear me, we can hear you. You doing all right today? We're doing good. You're doing good. I expect that you're doing good too. All that small talk stuff, though, don't worry about it. Just get into the take. Like, I'm calling to tell you that this is what they need to do with the LSU defense. Atta boy. Atta girl. Let me know. Like, just jump into it. Because we're going to keep the phone lines moving. We're going to keep them rolling. All right? So that's how we want to work it. 707-400-5575 is the phone number. 707-400-5575 is the phone number to get involved with us over here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Where, don't forget, we're brought to you daily by our friends over at Ochsner Health. Whether you're a pediatric patient, a high school athlete, doesn't matter if you're a member of the Saints, the Pelicans, a weekend warrior, or even a senior citizen, we all can turn to Ochsner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute for care. They're online at ochsner.org/sports medicine. We remind you every week on Fridays when we catch up with one of their specialists, one of their docs, about the Saturday morning clinic that's available over at the Grove Complex over here in Baton Rouge. If you want to learn more, you can log online to ochsner.org/sports medicine. Your calls for the rest of the show when we come back here on the Jordy Culotta Show, as always, built by R&B Builders. If you're in the market for a mortgage lender, you need to start with Doug Bickley and his team. Bickley has built a crew with over 50 years of combined lending experience. They've been in business for over 20 years, and they love helping their clients achieve the American dream of home ownership. They're also key with working in real estate agents and helping their clients getting same-day pre-approval. They average about one buyer a day getting them in a home. If you want to get in touch with Doug and his crew, it's easy. Call them 225-214-5154. 225-214-5154. Go see the Bickley team today. They're located on the corner of Coursey Boulevard and Sherwood Forest right here in Baton Rouge.
What's up?
What's happening?
Chilling with a couple of cool guys. You?
Chilling and watching some tube. Hold on.
Did you do it?
Hold on. Did you do it?
Rusa.
Hold on.
Rusa.
Rusa!
Rusa!
Hold on. Hold on.
beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Can't put the cart before the horse. That'd be like, will you marry me?
Do I know you?
Never sign a contract with a roofer before he gets on your roof. Call Go Roof instead. We offer a free, no-obligation inspection. A beautiful roof every single time. Bobby, goes in the front.
Roof, roof, Go Roof.
Belmont Stakes Race Training. I'm sticking to roofing.
Roof, roof, Go Roof.
Kentucky Derby Training. I'm sticking to roofing.
Roof, roof, Go Roof.
Offensive player of the game from LSU, Joe Burrow.
Football is life. Football is Joe Burrow.
Click Here Digital, the home of the Jordy Culotta Show. Online at clickheredigital.com. If you're looking to set Google ads, set social media campaigns, learn about SEO, display video, or even creative, Click Here Digital has the answer for you. Online at clickheredigital.com or email me directly, Jordy at clickheredigital.com. All right, welcome back here. Jordy Culotta Show is always live here from Click Here Digital on the campus. We got 20,000 square feet of office space. We're building full digital marketing plans for all of our clients over here. If you need your phone to ring more, if you need more clicks on your website, if you need the door to open up more, need more foot traffic, we can take care of all of that over at Click Here Digital for you as far as your digital marketing is concerned. We can set your Google ads, set your social media ads. We can help you with your content, SEO, all of it. Get in touch with us, clickheredigital.com, or just email me, Jordy at clickheredigital.com, Jordy at clickheredigital.com. Our phone lines are wide open here, and we're taking your phone calls, 707-400-5575. When we come in, I will ask your name, where you're calling from. As soon as you give me your name and where you're calling from, jump right into your take. Let's get right to it. To the phone lines we go here on a Monday morning. Here on the Jordy Culotta Show, live from Click Here Digital. Our phone line brought to you by Southern Regional Medical Center. Let's open them up, Stewie. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, man, it's Wade, man. I'm calling from Houston, Texas.
All right, Wade, what you got?
No defense. That's what I got. I mean, Jordy, bruh, man, between the LSU defense and the Saints offense, man, it's been a rough weekend.
I know, man.
Unwatchable. I mean, you got ran over for over 300 yards and they passed for over 300 yards. I mean, they kicked in your front door, kidnapped the children, took your woman. I mean, good grief, man. Like, bruh, when Denver Harris made that play, I thought I was watching the Saints and the Vikings. He tucked his head, man. Didn't want to tackle the guy on third down, man. Did not want to tackle him. And I'm not one to get on kids, but, man, you get NIL money. Y'all ain't kids no more, man.
Yeah.
Lord knows I want my hometown in-state Louisiana players to ball out. Bigger disappointment, man. Mason Smith, or Sage Ryan. Because Sage Ryan, good grief.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness, man. As soon as I saw him out there in the first quarter, I said, oh, Lord, we in trouble. We in trouble. I said, good grief, man. Just, again, if I'm the offense, defensive players, don't talk to us unless we talk to y'all first. If we don't talk to y'all, keep your head down, just go on about your business, man.
Right.
The only thing I got to say about the offense, Jordy, you have the most electrifying quarterback in college football as far as passing and running. Why would you cut half the field off on their third down play and do a sprint to the? That's the dumbest thing I saw.
I know.
I mean, Jaden Daniels can take off. You got the whole field open. If the player breaks down, he can take off for 10, 15 yards easy. You cut half the field off on the most crucial play call.
I know.
And then the two receivers ran into each other. But half the field, if the play isn't there quick, the play is dead.
That's right.
I mean, the smartest thing he did was just hold on to the ball and try to keep the clock running. But other than that, man, Jordy, I can see NRG from where I live and here in Houston. I was thinking to myself, what would be perfect if LSU could come play the Yellow Championship game here at NRG? Man, I don't think we'll be playing at NRG at the Texas Bowl.
That's right.
I'm out. Peace.
Later, baby. Appreciate you listening over in Houston. We'll keep the phone lines rolling here on this Monday morning. 707-400-5575 is the phone number to get involved. Look, we said the same thing about that offensive play call yesterday. That was going back to Saturday night. It's tough to complain about anything that happened on offense, really. I mean, there's nothing that you can really complain on offense except that. I mean, that would be it. I mean, a night where you just diced and cut up Ole Miss however you want on a very crucial play call of the game. You cut the field in half. You had two wide receivers run directly into each other, and Jaden Daniels had nothing left to do but eat it. I mean, thank God. I think what the caller pointed out was correct. Was, I mean, that was a smart play by Dan, just holding it. Don't throw it away. Keep that clock running. But it was screwed up, man. It was screwed up. Back to the phone lines we go. Brought to you by Southern Regional Medical Center here on the Culotta Show. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Kenny LaRousse. I'm calling from Gretna, Louisiana, West Bank.
Hell yeah, Kenny. What's on your mind?
Jordy, man, what was up with that damn squid kick, man? That was crazy. He's going to kick the ball on a squib kick when they got 8 minutes left in the freaking game. We ain't stopped them all weekend long. Come on, man.
And the execution.
Calls, bro. I mean, really. My language, sorry.
No, you're good.
But Jordy, the dude that said you beating around the bush, man, he crazy. Your show is the best show ever.
Oh,
and you always on point with your stuff.
Man,
you make me smarter, bro.
I appreciate that.
So you know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed.
Thank you for everything, brother. Look, just hang in there. We're going to get it straight. Peach coming.
Absolutely,
later, man.
I'll be here tomorrow morning. We'll be here every day. Thanks for being there. Back to the phone lines we go. 707-400-5575. Stu, you're going to have to figure something out here. We might have to go. We have to talk to somebody about getting some phone lines here. Stewie's got him on fire back there. We brought in our friend Grant. Grant is doing some content for us. If you're seeing some of the video and pictures that are coming out on our from our home games, Grant and our guy Haskell are behind that over here at Click Here. It is the first of the month over here at Click Here is a crazy time with putting back reports, digital reports. So our guy Austin has been in the office pretty early here. Grant's waiting on a couple of tasks for him to get going today. So in the meantime, we're going to have him reading some of the comments off of the YouTube chat. Grant, good morning. How are you doing over there, buddy? We good on the microphones over there? Yeah. So if you don't mind, while we're on the phone line, Stewie will have people kind of coming and going. In between him setting up callers, we'll go to you and pick up some of the comments, and you can just read anything. So,
I just want to let people know, like, when there's a caller on, please don't call.
I mean, that's not on them. I agree. Like this is on us. We got to figure these phone lines out, and the phone lines is a hot deal, so people want to get involved. So we might have to go to Bo on this and see what it's like to see if we can't get multiple phone lines in the studio. All right, back to the phone lines we go. What's your name? Where you calling from? Have a take, don't suck.
What's going on? This is Josh from Atlanta, man. I appreciate you guys' time. Just wanted to be real quick.
Yes, sir.
It just sucks being an LSU fan. Being an LSU fan here in Atlanta, hearing everybody talk all the trash about BK, hearing everybody talk all the trash about Jaden Daniels, and then, the offense looks great this year. I feel like you have a good enough team to beat Florida State. You definitely have a good enough team to beat Ole Miss. And now you're staring down, going into October.
Yeah.
2 losses. It just sucks. You definitely feel like this team could have done so much more. Season isn't over yet, but it just sucks. But either way, just wanted to call up, share the frustrations there. Definitely thought this team was good enough to do a whole lot more than what they've done so far. I guess they just got nothing to play for but pride for the rest of the season. But it is what it is, man. Y'all have a great one.
Thank you for calling. Thanks for listening out in Atlanta. Let's go over to Grant. Grant, what you got for some comments?
Juwan Harns, I believe, says, if any of y'all read my comments, I told y'all Ole Miss will have their record daybreak out game against us. It always happens.
It kind of felt like it was setting up for that, but look, that's the biggest win for Lane Kiffin at LSU. I mean, at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his marquee win. I mean,
a lot of people were even talking wait, what's that trophy they were hanging up? I mean, or they were walking around with. I saw tons of stuff.
The Magnolia Bowl?
Yeah, a lot of people just forget about it.
Did you see that frat kid square up? The Jacoby and Guillory squared up? Are you see, that's the problem now.
Yeah, that is.
And you had a dangerous situation in the end zone when Hilton jumped up when he came down. He was injured laying in the end zone. And
people
you've got
are just
people
stepping over him,
storming onto the field. You got people climbing up on the goalpost. Look, LSU's as guilty as anyone, and they've stormed the court and the field before, but LSU they were almost on the bad side of it the other night. You know what I mean?
Kelly was, the players were getting hit, but Kelly was losing it.
Yeah, I mean, it got a little dangerous out there. Let's go back to the phone lines, Stewie. We're good here. Back to the phone lines we go, 707-400-5575, brought to you by our friends over at Southern Regional Medical Center. Have a take, don't suck. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Easy, Richmond, Virginia.
Yes, what's up, Easy?
So LSU is consistently inconsistent, right? And part of being inconsistent is having young players, and a lot of young players. And when I mean young players, that means players with no SEC hours. Being a native Louisianian, one of the worst things on a Monday morning is to lose to Mississippi, the state of Mississippi, in anything. Brian Kelly has explained over and over and over again, this team is young, and what comes with young teams is inconsistency. He talks about consistency all the time, and the things that you do every day. He keeps saying this over and over. And the reason some of those younger players haven't played is not because of talent, it's because they're inconsistent. When he put them out there on the field on Saturday, what we saw was that inconsistency. We saw missed tackles. We saw can't get off the field on third down. You can stop on first and second, can't get off on third down. Inconsistency. In games, we see this inconsistency. Thank you for giving me my take.
Easy. Thank God you were in a better sell area this week. Great call, Easy. Great to hear from you out in Richmond, Virginia. Back to some of the comments as we set up our next phone call. 707-400-5575 is the phone number to jump inside over here at the Culotta Show. Grant, what we got coming in on YouTube?
Ghostface says, Kelly's over his head. LSU's too big for him. The SEC is a pressure cooker. You have to bring it in next week or a week out.
Well, look, if Brian Kelly is in fact over his head, tough luck for LSU fans because you're locked into him for another 8 years financially.
There's no one else out there. Even
no, and any talk of hot seat firing is wasted breath. It's hot air. It ain't happening. It's not going to happen. That's when you talk about the drawbacks of a 10-year contract, when you're in year 2 and your defense is giving up 700 yards in a game on the Monday morning and you're worrying about what are you going to do next? Nothing. Nothing. You are in you're not going anywhere. So, I mean, from a financial standpoint and a head coaching standpoint, Brian Kelly is it. He's got to be the one that figures it out. 707-400-5575. Back to the phone lines we go. Southern Regional Medical Center brings us our next caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, man, this is Paul from Pride. But look, I can talk about how the linebackers in the defensive line are getting sucked inside on the option play to the outside. I can talk about how the defensive ends, the linebackers aren't holding contained. The DBs aren't coming off coverage to put their nose inside and get the ball handler coming from the outside. He's not going down the field. Get off your guy. I can talk about how we have two DBs in double coverage on a deep shot in the third. No one turns and looks at the ball. I'm sorry. Look, I don't want to put down Devin Harris. I think he's doing great. He should have saw that ball. He was in perfect coverage. It would have fell into his lap if he just turned. I think the biggest problem with this team, you look at the offense and the defense. The offense is disciplined. The offense is bought in.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in the defense. When Devin Harris and I think it was Zah, or it may have been Sage Ryan, came off of that deep shot in the third, the ball was snapped before they got back to the line. The defensive line is playing a yard and a half off the offense, off the line.
Yeah. I mean, how many times
there's no discipline. There's nothing there. It's like they don't care. They're not bought in. We have the guys. No one's coming through that door, but we have the guys sitting on the bench who you're not playing. I don't care what class they are.
Yeah.
You're making $10 million. Put the best guys on the field and win a game. Ole Miss is not better than you.
Good call.
That's all I got, Jordy. Thank you, man.
Good call. Great call. Thank you. Phone lines are blowing up. We'll keep them rolling here. 707-400-5575. We're also taking your chat, your comments inside of the chat. Our guy Grant from Content is here this morning. Grant from Content, what we got?
Let's see. Let's say Buddha Cheese says Jordy, LSU needs to hire personal analysis in the offseason. It becomes blatant obvious that his mismanagement is a vital flaw. Too many kids sitting, he won't worry about the experience.
Yeah, I mean, like that's been the most frustrating part of this coaching.
The coaching staff,
like the coaching staff, has been like. I mean, like if you remember, like last year, we were barking in the microphone about Harold Perkins playing.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, like it was like, where is he? And then they finally start to play him, and I mean, it really kind of saved their season. You know, I mean, if they don't have him in the game against Arkansas, that's a loss. I mean, like, all right, back to the phone lines we go. 707-400-5575. Southern Regional Medical Center, Charlie Harvey, Jason Ramazan, and the crew bringing you our phone line every single day, especially here on this Monday morning when we open up the phone lines to you. Have a take, don't suck. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
We don't have a caller.
Oh, my bad.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on over here.
That would be having a take and sucking.
Yeah.
There's you. There we go. We got one coming in. More comments, Grant, over there?
I'm just reading through.
All right.
Sorry if I don't some energy, guys. I just
No, don't apologize to them. Daily, remember, we're brought to you by Katie's. Katie's Restaurant is online at katie'sinmidcity.com. katie'sinmidcity.com. 1984 is when they opened up. New Orleans-style menu, coldest beer in town, and the best service that you can find. Go tell Scott Craig and the crew that you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Back to the phone lines we go. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Have a take, don't suck.
Stan from Thibodeau.
What up, Stan? What you got?
Man, so I was calling, bro. I listen to the show every day.
Yes, sir.
This is my thing. I understand your point of put the best players on the field, things like that. But my thing is, this dude is with them. BK, I'm referring to, is with them every day.
Uh-huh.
He knows what they're good at. He knows what they struggle with. So I don't think that he will risk his job by just saying he's a freshman, he's not playing.
Yeah.
Same thing I'm saying with LaTerrence Welsh. Of course, he got in the game, he did his thing, but 2-3 minutes later, he's in zone coverage where everybody else is in man.
Right.
I think that those little things like that are what lose you the game.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Perk. I mean, we can't blitz Perk every play because all you got to do is scheme away from him. He's got film out there now. I think what needs to happen right now is somebody's got to dig deep and somebody's got to set the precedent on defense. It has to be a thing where, man, we don't even have to be an elite defense. We just got to be okay. We got to be below average.
That's right.
And we undefeated right now.
That's right.
We just got to be below average. 3rd and 12, how you letting them get 13 yards? I don't think
it's strictly on the players. I think it's more on the coaching because the scheme is not right. It seems like the linebackers aren't deep enough. The cornerbacks are too deep. The middle of the field's wide open, and we got to figure it out. I think we will. We just got to give them time. Like you said, we locked in, man. We got to make it happen.
Stan from the Doe. What a great call, bro. Great information. Great stuff. Thanks for listening. All right, we're going to keep the phone lines rolling here on this Monday morning. 707-400-5575 is the phone number if you want to get involved here on the Culotta Show. The phone calls have been fantastic this morning. Get in, get your name, where you're calling from, have your take. Good information from our callers this morning. That's the type of stuff we're looking for. Online, remember, you can find us, on social media, you can find us at Culotta Show. Make sure and give us a like, follow, subscription there. If you're watching right now on YouTube and you are not subscribed to the show, make sure and click the subscribe button for us. If you want to know when we go live, all you got to do is hit that alert button when you are talking about notifications. How are we looking on comments? You got anything?
So we got some people saying Perkins is going to transfer.
No, he's not.
Yeah, that'd be horrible for him. I mean, he's got the NIL deal here.
Right, he's not going anywhere.
And he's going to be a junior next year.
Yeah, he's already in. And then also saying, please, someone, for God's sake, someone please learn how to tackle. That is one thing that I saw this entire weekend is no one could tackle.
You got to go live, man. I mean, you got to start practicing live. I would say this about the transfer stuff. Like, guys I would be worried about is like the young guys that are not playing that should be playing. Like Deshaun Womack, you can't lose him. Like, you cannot lose a 5-star rush defensive end that is a freak. Like, put him in the game. You know, I mean, like, you put him in for 5 snaps against Arkansas. Arkansas is a formidable offensive line. They're not great. They're good.
Coach is an offensive line coach.
Even though Texas A&M coach manhandled Arkansas.
Texas A&M is 5-star.
30 tackles for loss and 14 sacks over the last 2 games. Texas A&M. On defense. Like, if you're not paying attention, look out. Texas A&M on defense is scary. Back to the phone lines we go. Stewie, open them up here. Have a take, don't suck. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Jacob from Lafayette.
What's up, Jacob? What's on your mind?
I just wanted to call, listen to the show yesterday, Jordy. I gotta disagree a little bit.
Okay.
I think it is a lack of talent on the DB side.
Yeah.
These aren't the dudes we're used to having. You know, there's no Jamal Adams or Tre'Davious White or Morris Claiborne on that defense right now, and that's what I think. These guys are okay, but they're not LSU DBs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Brian Kelly doesn't really resonate with Louisiana because he's so almost white collar. You know, Louisiana is a very blue collar state, and I don't know if he attracts Louisiana type people is what I call it to say, you know. I don't know if he's a Louisiana guy.
Jacob, I agree with you. I think that's a good call. Thanks for calling and, pointing out yesterday. You're right. The defensive backfield talent is not to the standard of what LSU has to come to expect.
I mean, that's out-coached and outplayed.
Sure. I mean, but when you look at it, Syracuse transfer, Southeastern transfer, Marshall transfer, that doesn't really add up to DBU, right? I mean, like that's not.
I totally agree.
So, I mean, good call. Thanks for calling here on this Monday. And as far as Brian Kelly being, look, I put out a tweet yesterday morning that went crazy, and I said that this starts with Brian Kelly and allowing people like Brian Polian to come in here and infiltrate a mindset that has just changed at LSU, right? Like, and it's probably unfair to put it directly on those two guys because you're stepping into a scenario where you don't have a lot of background, you don't have a lot of knowledge, you're stepping into a place that if you're an outsider, Louisiana's got to be a pretty scary place. In fact, a good friend of mine, Will Wade, has told me, when you come into Louisiana as an outsider, I mean, it is...
It's intimidating.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, like, you don't know who's with you, you don't know who's against you, you don't know the politics, you don't know where to go, you don't know the people in the right places, and figuring that stuff out, sometimes it can either make or break you, right? I mean, really, you fall into the wrong circles, you fall into to with somebody that's not necessarily looking out for your best interest. In Louisiana, with the political ties and the way that everything's kind of cross-pollinated with one another,
sports, LSU, Southern, politics, like all the stuff. I mean, everything's kind of, everything kind of lives in the gray in Louisiana, right? I mean, it's not necessarily black and white. It's kind of like gray, right? So, I mean, if you're coming in as an outsider, you're like, who, where, with who? I mean, it's got to be a little bit different. And I think there is some of that. I do. I agree with Jacob. I think that, there's going to have to be some type of compromise of, look, if you start to get real far away from attracting the type of talent and the type of prospect that has been coming to LSU, well, look at what you're sacrificing. Look at what you're potentially forfeiting. Because over the last 23 years, one thing has stayed constant. Now, there has been waves, ripples, and bad stories and bad PR and bad stuff. There's also been good stuff. There's been, kind of ups and downs. One thing that has been constant is that when the LSU football program is a championship contender, the majority of the roster, the majority of the leadership, the majority of the playmakers are all from Louisiana. I mean, like, that's the truth. Is there sprinkles of Matt Flynn? Is there sprinkles of Joe Burrow? Is there sprinkles of Joseph Adai and Dwayne Bowe and guys that have come in? Harold Perkins from outside the area, Jamal Adams? Yeah. But they all came in with a similar mindset of, this is LSU football. And when you're jumping on the jet and you're going to recruit defensive ends from Utah and DBs from Nevada and offensive linemen from New Jersey, when you step into the locker room at LSU and there's still a little bit of that hint of that culture, that mindset, a lot of sinking and swimming, like you find out real quick. Back to the phone line, 707-400-5575. Have a take, don't suck. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello. Going once. Going twice.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I got you, man. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Akeem from Port Allen by the way of Atlanta, Georgia.
Hell yeah. What's up, Akeem? What's on your mind?
Yeah, I disagree with the last caller when he said it's a talent thing. I mean, I had Ole Miss to cover the spread versus Tulane, and they nearly struggled that whole game. And you wouldn't say Tulane has better players than LSU.
Right.
And they didn't bust that game open until I want to say late in the third, where Ole Miss just, I think they got a turnover or whatnot and just took off on them or whatever. I think it's a scheme thing. I think the players don't understand the scheme, so they can't play fast. They just playing with less effort because they don't understand what they're doing, and you can see that each and every week. So I don't think it's a talent thing. I think they don't understand what they're doing out there, so they're unable to play fast when the game is on or whatnot. And then also, Brian Kelly not going for it late in that game when it was like 4th and 7.
Yeah.
He said in the post game press conference, I didn't think it was a smart thing. But it's like, sir, if you saw the flow of the game, your defense couldn't stop anything, and you decided to just keep going.
I'm with you, Akeem.
You just started.
So that's all after the penalty. After the penalty, Akeem, I was saying, go for it. Like, who cares?
Yeah, right.
Like, don't worry. Do not let your defense. I mean, the middle of the third quarter, I'd have cut the defensive staff's headset off. I'm serious. I'd have been like, I'm calling the plays. I mean, like, I'm the one that's going to have to answer the questions about you guys in the post game. Y'all are going to get me fired. I'm calling the plays now. I mean, like, it was that bad. That was flag football, man. I mean, like, really, that was.
It might as well.
I mean, like, I got a text at the end of the game. They were like, "Great job letting them score." I'm like, they didn't let them score. They missed 2 tackles and got blown up at the goal line. They were trying to make the play. They couldn't make the play. I mean, they didn't let them score. They needed to. It worked out for them, but they just couldn't tackle them. Who's 21? Ryan Yates. He gets blown up at the goal line. I mean, like, he's closing in trying to tackle the guy.
Comes in and just.
And look, he's a true freshman. I'm not blaming him. He's giving effort. He's going for the play. But, I mean, like, somebody on the sideline needs to be like, don't touch him. Like, look, don't worry about it anymore. Let him score. And so we can get the ball back to Jaden.
Like, that's the only prayer we got.
I mean,
that's why I agree with Akeem when he was throwing the punt team out there. I'm like, what the hell's he doing?
I mean, at that point in the game, the offense should have been telling the defense, hey,
Yes.
let them score. Let them score.
Like,
let them score. Fuck it.
Or almost like, let them bring the punt back.
Yeah, do whatever.
So you can get as much time as possible.
Oh no! Look, we aren't bagging on.
And I'm not
Ryan
bagging on Yates. I'm not bagging on Yates.
He played a hell of a game.
Yeah, like I mean, like he's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing. But in that scenario, like there's nobody like that. Again, this is on the sideline. Like nobody's telling him, like, yo, don't touch him. Don't worry. Like let them score so we can get the ball back and give the ball back to the only prayer that LSU has. I mean, like really. We good on the phones?
Yeah.
Back to the phone lines we go. 707-400-5575. Have a take, don't suck. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Jordy, Dexter, New Orleans. Just want to say, man, I am pissed off. Look, I know we all are. Last year we overachieved. We get it, right? Maybe this year we're kind of starting to feel the effects of what happened with Edo at the end of his, regimen, and also the lack of recruiting that we have done on the defensive side of the ball. I will say this. I went to the game, and LSU, I love tradition. I love the band playing. I love all that shit. But, dude, LSU is behind the times with game day atmosphere. Like, I thought I was at a concert, festival, just absolute party in the Grove.
You could hear it through the television.
Yeah, dude, it was insane, bro. Like, I had goosebumps. I'm like, this is 67,000 people, but it feels like it's 150,000 people. So I'll just say that. I'll also say this. This feels like a Notre Dame coached football team.
Yeah.
This reminds me of the last 10 years of Notre Dame Irish football. And you know the sad part is? Notre Dame fans told us this shit, too.
Yeah, no.
And we just said, no. Let him get to Louisiana. Let him recruit Louisiana. He's not recruiting Louisiana.
Right.
He's not doing it. He's not recruiting Louisiana. And Blake Baker was a big loss.
He was.
Us losing him,
he was.
Big loss.
I agree.
Corey Raymond, we can talk all the shit that we want, that he's not the guy. We lost him. Florida defense is trash. We get it. But look, Roberts Peoples, not any better.
Yeah.
Everybody on the defensive side of the ball needs to go. It's bad. The bad part is when you let go of college coaches, it does affect recruiting, right? So like it's not like the NFL where you just fire somebody, the next one comes in, you can't really lose guys, right? Unless you cut them. So that's a big deal. But they're not recruiting anybody anyway, so just let them go. It's sad, man. Look, I played football my whole life, played sports my whole life. Was part of championship teams in high school. And I'll say this, the offense right now, they have major beef with the defense.
Yes.
I promise you, the locker room right now is not fun to be in for the defense.
I agree.
When you have an offense that's doing what they're doing right now, that it could beat anybody in the country, and the defense, like the previous caller said, just has to be below average, like not even average, just below average. Like, can you keep them within 30 points? And they can't do that. We have serious issues, Jordy. But I just want to say, man, look, I love y'all's show. You have a great day, and God bless.
Thank you, Jack. Thanks for listening down in New Orleans. And look, when I think about it, I was thinking about this yesterday. The defensive backs right now are, we all agree, like that seems to be the deficiency of the defense, right? Like that when you talk about the defense, the part that stresses you out the most is the DBs, right? And then you turn on your television week 5 and see Welch and see Denver Harris and see Zy Alexander and see these guys playing 10, 12 yards off the ball. Like, in my opinion, again, look, I'm the untrained football eye. I'm not the guy breaking down, speaking of Caskey's Clicker tonight coming up, 6:30, and that'll be on Caskey's Clicker. YouTube, right? Yes, so make sure you go to Caskey's Clicker and follow that on YouTube. He'll be breaking it all down. And I can't wait to watch, and I can't wait to see what he says about the game. This ain't the show for that, right? Like, I mean, I'm not giving you and breaking that stuff down from an X and O standpoint. I will say this, though. When you've got wide receivers like LSU has, where
if you're practicing against Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, and look, I'll throw Kyron Lacey and Aaron Anderson and Chris Hilton and those guys in there, but specifically, if you're going up against Neighbors and Thomas every day, to me, like what House has been saying through the first 5 weeks is that either he doesn't believe he has the personnel, which I don't agree with, to run man-to-man, because he does. I think that Denver Harris and LaTerrence Welsh both come out of man-to-man systems and run that very comfortably. Or he's just saying he is not going to run that at all. For whatever reason, he's not doing it. And it's by that the scheme doesn't fit, or why I don't get, because if it were me, I would just say, look, this is what these two guys do best. And at the end of it, I've seen those two compete harder and be able to flush bad plays that happen to them faster than anybody and seem to give you the best chance to win. They play man-to-man every rep in practice from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Let them check 11 and 8. Like, put Denver Harris and put LaTerrence Welsh on Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors every rep, all week. And let them learn how to play man-to-man defense against the best tandem of wide receivers in the country. That was the beautiful part about the practice field about LSU over the last 15 years. You go out there and you check Corey Webster guarding Dwayne Bowe. What those two guys do in the NFL? Corey Webster only intercepted Brett Favre's last pass as a Packer, and Dwayne Bowe has records with the Kansas City Chiefs. Those guys were on the same practice field. How about Jamar Chase and Derek Stingley? What'd they do? Chase went 4, Stingley went 3. I mean, like, that was on the practice field.
I mean,
you had Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham going up against guys like
Trey White, Mo Claiborne.
Trey White and Mo Claiborne. Like, those guys, that you could charge admission to those practices to watch those one-on-ones. Mm-hmm. I would love to see Denver Harris check Brian Thomas in practice 3 days a week. I know what it would do. By the time it got to Saturday, Denver Harris would be thinking, this ain't that bad. I've been getting my ass kicked since Tuesday. Now I got this guy that can't run like Thomas, can't jump like Thomas, can't play like Thomas. And I'm ready to play man-to-man defense. Rather than putting these guys out of the television screen. There are some shots of LSU on defense. You get a wide shot of the screen, and there's no DB. Like, there's like 10 yards of just open space where you're like, hey, I don't want to get into a football debate with Matt House. He'd run circles around me, but can you explain to me how this makes sense? Like, why would you do that? I mean, you've got Ole Miss wide receivers that are just feasting on the defensive backfield. Go check those guys, right? No. Okay. I mean, like, you know football, I don't. But they're closing in on 700 yards. You know what I mean? Like, they're about to rewrite the record book at the school. They've been playing football here since the 1800s. They're about to do something they've never done. You got to change. 707-400-5575 to the phone lines we go. Have a take, don't suck. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Jeff from Birmingham. Just want to say I'm a big fan of the show. What I want to get to is the drive before the last drive, where it's the worst play call of the game on third down. And I'm not here to talk about how Denbrock called a bad game, because he called a great game, and our offense played amazing. But that third down where he rolls Jaden Daniels right to the short side of the field and gives him no options, two receivers are running into each other. I thought it was absolutely horrible. And then it's fourth down, I understand, but you got to go for it. I mean, the defense isn't stopping. I mean, we have so much of a better chance of getting that fourth down conversion and then just running the clock out than punting the ball back. It reminded me of the 2012 LSU-Georgia game where whoever had the ball last was going to win the game, and we had a better chance of going for it on that fourth down and converting and running the clock out than punting the ball back to him. Our defense wasn't stopping anything that night. Anything. Okay. And one more thing I want to say, anyone who thinks Denver Harris is a problem, he's the best corner we have on the team, and if you can't see that, you don't know football. He has to be out there. I know he's made some mistakes, but he is our best guy. He has to be out there.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you for listening. Great call. And not just because I agree with you on that. I mean, like, if you don't see that, really, like, what is your debate? You obviously don't like me, is what you're saying. I mean, like, that's what this has come down. Like, Denver Harris is the best cornerback on the team. Quit messing with him. Just leave him out there. He's going to make mistakes. That is the nature of the position. The great ones are able to flush it. He can do that. Like, I mean, I saw where they tried to pull him out of the game after he makes a play on the sideline, and he's like talking. He's over the guy, like talking a little shit to him, and they're like trying to rip him. I see Robert Steeples trying to pull him out of the game. Yeah. It's like, hey, man, that's what makes him great. That's what makes him good. That would be like taking Odell and being like, hey, man, you can't wear those sunglasses in pregame. You got to cut your hair. You can't wear those cleats. Like, well, you've just neutered. You've just like snipped the best player on the field. Why? Well, we want everybody thinking and breathing and militaristic. Like, dude, that you're going to find yourself 5th or 6th in the league. Like, really? I mean, that is not going to play against Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M, Texas. Texas is running their organization like an SEC school 2 years ago. I talked to somebody on the Texas staff weekly. They are SEC ready. They think like SEC. They're built like SEC. They've taken the blueprint model from the league and one of the best organizations in the SEC, and they've just come in to Austin and copy and pasted it. Meanwhile, LSU had the blueprint in place, but they're taking a Big Ten model and now trying to ram that in to one of the dominant SEC programs. And it's spitting back out that this ain't working. Like that, this is not how you feed this beast. This is not how you do that. Not with the personnel, not with the coaching style, not with the scheme, not with the recruiting. This is not it. This is how you find yourself in the middle of the pack in the league in an instant. Let Deshaun Womack leave in the offseason and try and replace a 5-star dog with what? A Utah defensive end? Nah, that ain't going to work. It's not going to work against Bama. It's not going to work against Georgia. That's not going to work against Tennessee. I mean, forget the heavyweights. You better bring gunfight to a gunfight because that's the only way to win. Ask Nick Saban. Saban won 7 games in his first year. He didn't forget how to coach. He was coaching bums. And that's how it's built. If there's one common denominator from 2003 to 2007 to 2011 to 2019, pull those rosters. Who's the captains? Who's the key players? For every 4 kids I'll give you from Louisiana, you can give me a Joe Burrow. In fact, the starting defensive backfield for LSU in 2003, the 4 of them. Corey Webster, St. James. Jack Hunt, Ruston. LaRon Landry, New Orleans. Travis Daniels, Florida. 1 out of every 4.
Go 2019.
2019.
Derek Stingley, Baton Rouge. Christian Fulton, New Orleans. Grant Delpit, New Orleans.
Yeah.
And then Jacoby Stevens is 5-star from Tennessee.
There you go. 1 out of every 4.
Just Louisiana, just players are just different.
And it's proven. It's proven in the NFL. It's proven in college. It's proven. Ed Reed was the captain of the Miami team. He's from Destrehan. Raynoch Thompson was the captain of Tennessee's national championship team. He's from St. Aug. Cordell Stewart was the quarterback in the Miracle up at Colorado. He's from John Ehret.
I mean, that's why Nick Saban took the job. He was like, how is Ed Reed not in an LSU uniform? Who missed on Reggie Wayne? Who missed on Raynoch Thompson?
Marshall Faulk.
Why is Warwick Dunn at Florida State? Well, Curly Hallman told him he wanted to make him a cornerback. Why is Marshall Faulk at San Diego State? Well, they wanted to make him a safety. I mean, like, who's been running this place? I mean, like, you got to build defense, man. To the phone line, Stewie? Back to the phone lines we go. 707-400-5575 from the Click Here Digital Studios. What's your name? Where you calling from? Have a take, don't suck.
Hey, this is Tim in Tyler. Hey, I'm not really a sky is falling type of guy. I know we want to.
I'm just kidding.
React in a minute to. It was a terrible game against Ole Miss, but think about the bigger picture, and you can check me on this. I don't think I'm wrong. Since beating Alabama last year, Brian Kelly is 3-4 against Power 5 teams not named Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a losing record to Power 5 teams not named, right? So you beat Alabama. It was a great game. You turn around, I think you beat Arkansas that year. Then you go sleepwalk through a Texas A&M game. And after that game, Brian Kelly was sort of like, hey, man, I learned that stadium was loud. I learned that you can't take a week off in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the SEC knows that.
Mm-hmm.
You turn around and lose to Georgia in the conference championship game. Okay, Georgia's a good team. You get a win at Purdue with no head coach and like 35% of their roster missing. Okay, still it's a win in the bowl game. Then you open up the season, you lose to Florida State, you beat Mississippi, you beat Arkansas, you lose to Ole Miss. You're 3-4 against Power 5 teams not named Purdue since you beat Alabama. So whether the sky is falling or not, that does not bode well. And I'll tell you, I played high school football in Texas. I was lucky enough to play at a small college in Louisiana, and you're not wrong. Louisiana high school, it's different in Louisiana. In Texas, Louisiana doesn't have the public school systems and the money and the stadiums and everything, but Louisiana high school football, there's passion. Those dudes have got a lot of fire and a lot of grit. So maybe there is something to having a bunch of Louisiana, but there's also just the pride of playing for your state. I know you guys have said all that. So I've got one question, and then I'll listen. Late in the game, I want to say it was inside of 5 minutes in the fourth quarter, LSU scores. Was there ever an explanation on the kickoff where we put in a kicker? I've never heard of him. I think his name was Dilbert, maybe?
Yeah.
We put him in, and we kick a low liner and give him the ball to the second level receiving on the 40-yard line with a short field when your defense hasn't been able to stop sunlight. Like you couldn't stop anything. Was it just, did he ever give an explanation? Was it just a missed strike on the ball? Did he call Bill Polian and say, hey bud, what should we do here? Let's go with the worst possible decision. I mean, was there an explanation why inside of 5 minutes you would give that offense the ball on the 40-yard line going in? And I'll shut up and listen.
Thank you, Tim. Great call, man. Thanks for listening over in Tyler. I think it was just a misexecution of a squib kick is all I can really come to a kind of, I mean, because it was as if Brian Polian had come down and been like, yo, y'all want me to go kick this? I mean, that was as horrible as a executed squib kick the timing of it, just the fact that special teams continues to haunt LSU in the way that it does is alarming. But yeah, that was a horrendous time for that. I would just imagine the squib kick was misexecuted is all I could hope that would be. I mean, that couldn't have been intentional. I mean, because to kip that thing to the up back and allow them. I mean, you had caught a break. They had the penalty on the extra point. So it was almost like that's a regular spot where you do see onside kick, right? When you do have a defense that you trust, you're like, yo, we're kicking this thing from midfield. You want to try this? And
I can't
when they scribbed it to the up back, you're like, what the hell is that? What are they doing? I don't know, man. And sometimes, like I said, I would love the TV shot to catch Brian Kelly like in some Notre Dame mode. I mean, I used to watch Kelly on TV and be like, this guy is a lunatic. I mean, like, you know, like, I mean, he is gonna just like, it looks like his head is gonna pop off of his shoulders. I mean, like, he just is so intense. Like, I haven't seen him do that at LSU. And not that, like, that's going to make, you know, but, I mean, sometimes you get so frustrated. Like I said, I mean, like, Saban on Saturday night, I know that he's been a little bit more calm. He's cracking jokes. He's kind of a little bit more, you know, he's a milder, you know, he's a grandfather now. You can tell. But if you watched him Saturday, I mean, it looked like him and Muschamp on that retro LSU clip.
Did you hear what he said? He said, Miss Terry told me if they weren't playing good, get on their ass.
I mean, like, he went, like, retro. I mean,
he
like,
was
his
out
head's
there
bobbing. He broke the headset. He threw the headset. I mean, he's, like, chewing on the headset. You know, it's like, hell yeah, man. Look out. Watch out for Bama. You know what I mean? Like, he's pissed. You know what I mean? For as bad as they were on Saturday night, you're like, yo, like, tell him something.
They were up 24 points, and he's still going.
He met a player, I believe Arnold.
Yeah.
He met him
I'm watching it.
on
the hash.
He met him like past the numbers, man. And I mean, he is like just bleeping. I mean, like in his ear, mother bleeping told you, mother. I mean, like just this kid is like, I mean.
He's just leaning in.
I mean, he's like, oh, good? Man. Good? It's just, where is that? Where is that? I guess that's a 10-year contract, man. I cannot promise that if somebody was like, yo, man, you want to go do like podcasts and I'll pay you 10-year.
I can't promise.
I can't promise in year 2 I'd be down. I mean, I'd be like, hey, man, you're missing the breaks. Really?
Sorry.
Sucks.
Damn.
Tell Stewie. Hey, your defense is allowing 700 yards. Like,
damn.
Yeah.
Damn, didn't know.
Yeah. I'll get with Matt. See what's up.
10 of them still hitting the bank this year.
Yeah, right. I mean,
look at this.
I mean, look, nobody's all. Look, the coaches are getting. Look, he's like, damn, Tommy Reese.
Call my dad, please.
Every fucking time. I love it, man. I mean,
that's
like,
true passion right
look,
there.
Yeah, it's just so, just
because she said something to him, like right there. The Muschamp Saban clip is still the. I mean, it's an all timer.
It resurfaces every year on
it has
social
to.
media.
Yeah, I mean, it has to. I mean, it is a all. Is that it's Lionel? Didn't we have Lionel Turner on?
Yeah.
But I mean, like one time, just one time, like let me. There's got to be somebody on staff, because I used to like. Ogeron told us that Kiffin, like, had it like worked out with Saban, like would tell. I don't know if Kiffin was like telling his friends this, or if this was true, that like he told Saban like, hey man, if you ever need to like use me as an example, you can like you can like, you know, like free use me. You know, like you can do anything you want. You know, like you can mother bleep me, you can put me on national television, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So like some of those times he would dress down Kiffin on the sidelines, he was really kind of doing it towards somebody else. Like he was really like yelling at somebody else through Kiffin, but you know, he didn't know if anybody else could really handle it.
Lane's like,
yeah, man, hit
cool.
me, dude. I mean, I'm going to be with the booster's wife later anyway. It doesn't matter. I know you've been telling me since August to stay away from her, but I mean,
I can't.
Yeah,
it's
right.
too good.
So, sure, light me up.
Wait, this one. Red face. We don't ever get that out of BK.
I mean, just one time.
I'd love to see that out of BK.
Like
once.
one time, and like that was the Brian Kelly that I kind of thought
we were getting.
I mean, like, or at least a portion of that, because I mean, he went through a 3 or 4 year stretch at Notre Dame that every time the camera found him, it looked like he was going to kill somebody.
Red face.
I mean,
like,
vein coming out the forehead.
Like, this man is
neck.
crazy.
You know, like Boston pissed.
Now we get.
Yeah, now it's just kind of like
rolling his eyes.
I've seen him throw the headset down once.
Have you?
Yeah.
When?
Last season.
Yeah, I
Was
mean,
during
like
the Georgia
early.
game. SEC championship. When I was
Year
there.
2, man. I mean, like a couple of vacations later.
He's like, I'm just cooling.
All right. Can somebody give me the summer?
I got a stat for you.
Hit me.
LSU's pass offense is number 3 in the country. Missouri's pass defense is 107 in the country.
Okay, so about to eat.
Missouri's pass offense is number 7 in the country. LSU's pass defense is number 130.
This is every week. I'm telling you, this is about to be every week.
We got to call it waiting.
Man.
He's been waiting for a while.
Sorry about that. I didn't know. Back to the phone lines we go. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Have a take, don't suck.
Hello?
Yes, you're on. What's your name?
Hey, this is Ryan from Central Arkansas. I just wanted to say before I went on, I listen to you guys every day. I enjoy the show, Jordy.
Thank you, Ryan. Thanks for listening, man. What you got?
Yeah, my problem, look, David Polian was let go after being with that guy for 10 years. This will be corrected one way or another,
Sure.
and I have no doubt that Brian Kelly is evaluating these coaches super, super hard, especially in the secondary. I don't, let me ask you, do y'all like Star Wars? Did y'all watch the sequels and anything? Do y'all get into Star Wars?
Yeah.
We got one on staff.
Well, there was a thing where Mark Hamill pretty much told everybody before you saw one of the movies that he obviously wasn't a fan of them, like much of the fans were. He said, if you think you're going to go in there and watch your child memory, you're mistaken and misleading yourself. Matt House did kind of plainly, before the season started, in some of his interviews, we're working on it, but we are not there yet. And, you kind of take that at the time as, well, that's just coaches talk. Everybody says that. They always say that because, you're never where you want to be, or you never have a future goal to constantly have something to work on. I kind of got that at the time, but I don't know. He kind of wasn't sugarcoating this. This is kind of, I mean, this is dog shit what we're putting on the field right now in the secondary. I mean, there's just no way to sugarcoat it. We've got talent out there. I do not believe for 1 second that we are 117th that damn bad. No way. None. Zero. You're telling me we live in a world where our defense is worse than, I'd have to look at the stats, but maybe all the Pac-12? And I get Spates at the beginning starting just because the rhythm of the game was perfect for his style of play, you would think, because he's in the Pac-12. So I kind of understood that. But after 2-3 series, and again, I don't think 1 or 2 players make that big of a difference, but I'm with you. Why is Womack not on the field?
Amazing.
This guy's done. Anytime he's on the field, he's barking. He's a dog. We need guys out there that are playing with that mentality. That's what Louisiana football's been known for. I do not understand for the life of me how a guy makes a play. Good job, kid. We'll see you later.
Unreal.
What are you doing?
Unreal.
I do not understand why in the hell are we taking guys that are bringing some energy. When he made the tackle against KJ last week and he's losing his helmet, and it's like, never see him again.
Right.
And it's like, man, that got the crowd into it. It got the team into it. And I know the locker room, it's got to be very disgusted right now if you're a defensive guy, because it's like your offense is carrying you, and you guys have, like, it's a shame. The whole weekend is shredded because the defense is so bad.
Yeah.
Like, the whole offense is overshadowed. And, I just go back and think of things like Trent Richardson's interview in 2011. He made a statement where it was like, the thing that makes LSU football stand out on defense compared to everybody else you're going to play is their corners hit like linebackers. We have nobody that even knows how to hit anymore in our secondary. And a lot of it is, there are times where the scheme is there. I mean, if you go back and look at it, the scheme's there at times. We're either playing too far off the ball and guys aren't trusting one another and then gel and then think. And there's like moments where Sajon could turn and make a play and he's not there and making it. It's just because he don't trust the safety to make the play. And I mean, I guess I'm going to be honest. I don't know if the safety would make the play anyway. We just kind of sit there and flop over. I mean, we watched Tumbleweed roll down the field. I don't. Make no mistake, though, I do feel like, look, Polian was an example. I love you, but I can separate friendship from business, and something will change. I have no doubt about that. But anyways, I wanted to leave it at that. Enjoy you guys. What you thought about it?
Great show, Ryan. I mean, great call. Thank you for calling the show. There's a lot to that. I mean, there is a lot to the culture that is being built. I think that we're really starting to see that for the first time. Early on, where you've still got a roster of guys that were here beforehand, with the most of, those guys being brought in from different coaches, there was an obvious, different plan of approach when you look at just kind of what's starting to play out here on building the roster. I do believe and agree with Ryan. I think that Brian Polian is a great example of Brian Kelly is not just going to sit and be complacent. He's not just going to sit here and take it and allow LSU to seemingly, but the moves he made. If he's willing to fire Brian Polian was a good friend of his. He's been places with him. He's, been all of the, been at nearly all the stops with him. So, I think that for him to remove him, for him to get rid of him like he did last season, shows you that he will make the necessary moves. Phone lines, Stewie?
Yeah, got the phone line, but somebody posted this video saying this is Jaden Daniels to Madhouse on the sideline.
Wasn't that in the SEC championship game?
No, that was the national championship. You see the patch?
Yeah, that's right.
But at some point, somebody on the offense has to tell somebody on the defense, y'all got to get y'all shit together. We are fucked.
Well, you know what? That's what I said. That's kind of the difference of LSU football, and that is what was the mentality for a long time, was that you would. And I've seen this.
Me too.
I've seen this up close, and I've seen it being a part of the game, on the sideline, where if there was no effort, and at times you can question whether or not LSU's given full effort. If there's not energy that looks like you're in it and wanting to win, when you come to the sideline from the field,
somebody's gonna tell you.
There's somebody, and not a coach.
There's gonna be a player.
Nobody in a headset. I'm talking about a player is ready and waiting to hold you accountable. Yeah. What's the deal?
I've seen Devin White getting Joe Burrow's ass.
Oh, I've seen Brandon Taylor call dudes out step up here. Take your helmet off and come tell me why you're not. And people be like, oh, no, I'm good. I'll just go. You know what? I'll just do it. You know what? Forget it. To go a step further, I've seen Devin White call out Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
They had a travel rule when Fournette and Devin White were here where they weren't allowed to wear jeans on road trips. They traveled in coat and tie, suit. And for one of the last games at Miles, it might have been the Auburn game. Mm-hmm. It might have been his last game. He got onto the plane with Fournette got on the plane with jeans on, and Miles did not say anything to him. And Devin White stood up and said, we're not going anywhere until everybody's dressed the right way. Well, if he can wear jeans, then I'm going to go throw mine on. And called out Fournette in front of everybody where, look, man, that's tough. At this time, he's
Fournette.
Booga. You know what I mean? He's the dude. And where is that guy? Where is that guy? And I'm not asking for anybody to start internal fighting. I'm just asking people to hold people accountable. The locker room needs to run itself. That's LSU's best teams. Right? That 03 team, you couldn't get past. Nick Saban couldn't get past the guard of the locker room, past Lavallee, Spears, Clayton, and those guys. 07, the locker room was run by Dorsey, Flynn, Hester, Doucette. Right? 11, you couldn't get past Matthew. You couldn't get past T-Bob and those guys that were Eric Reed that were overseeing the locker room. 2019, you think that Ed Ogeron had any say-so about what was happening inside that group? Outside of Delpit and Burrow and Clyde and Jamar and
Pat Queen.
The list goes on. Those guys ran it. They ran their own team. Back to the phone line. Let's go. 707-400-5575. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Have a take, don't suck.
What's going on? Jordy Culotta from Houston, man. What's going on? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we got you.
All right, man, listen. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but, as a former defensive lineman, watching the defensive line technique is just nauseating. They can't set an edge. They're always getting too deep in their pass rush. We can't own our gap. And on top of that, we got a secondary that can't tackle. I'm not used to seeing
LSU DBs that don't come up and tackle. Like, people when maybe underappreciated Corey Raymond, but we haven't had an NFL caliber DB recruited since he's been gone, and that's just a fact. We don't have an NFL caliber DB on the roster. Maybe some of these young guys can. Like, I like what I saw from Ryan Yates when he got in the game, but we're not seeing those guys play. We're seeing vets play that continuously make mistakes in the secondary, continuously make mistakes on the D-line. I don't understand why Womack is not getting on the field. Like, I appreciated Womack even being on the sideline hyping guys up. Like, when Yates made that play, he was the first one in Yates' face, like, yeah, man, let's go. Like, he's still in it, in the game. Why we got guys in the game, not focused, not locked in, not ready to play. We really have to, like, this offseason, really going to have to evaluate who's going to be on staff on defense, because right now it's atrocious. Like, I don't trust the cornerbacks. I really don't. I don't trust the cornerback recruiting. I don't trust I know we don't have our D-line coach right now, so maybe that's why we see a lot of glaring deficiencies on the D-line. But even our linebackers, man, outside of Weeks, I like to play pin makes, but other than that, like, where are the dogs filling gaps, coming up, knocking people's heads off? We're not seeing that. And this is going to become indicative on Brian Kelly, man, because at the end of the day, a lot of Notre Dame fans warned us, like, yeah, man, Brian Kelly's a good coach, but you're going to get this in big games. You're going to get this. And what we're seeing is Brian Kelly continuously choking in big games. I know LSU don't see Ole Miss as a big game, but, I mean, this is a ranked matchup on the road. It's a big game.
Yeah.
And we continuously, if you just look at all the big games we played the last 2 seasons, we're getting 40 put on us. 40-plus points put on us. Tennessee put 40 on us. Georgia destroyed us. Like, we have to be better. Florida State put 40 on us. Like, we have to be better in these games. And I don't know if it's an energy thing. I don't know if it's Brian Kelly not motivating the team correctly, or is it evaluations. I don't want to hear nothing about talent, bro, because at this point, it looks like our defense is worse than Colorado's. Like, we can't stop anybody. And we have the talent. Don't tell me we don't have talent on that field. You can go to 247 combined talent rankings, bro. They have every team's talent right there, 4 or 5 stars, everybody got. We're ranked like 6. Like, we're in there. And the teams that we're under are actually competing. Like, we're making fun of Texas A&M. I don't think we can make fun of Texas A&M right now. Because right now, Brian Kelly is starting to look like Jimbo Fisher.
No way.
With his coaching job. It's just the reality. I mean, we got to start winning these games, man. Like, this is the worst SEC we probably going to see in 5 or 6 years. And we are struggling to stay afloat. Like, we should be the favorite to win the West. But what we're seeing from the defense is not going to get us there. I just don't understand how we fix this going forward. And I've seen a lot of comparisons to the 2019 defense, but that defense was opportunistic. They weren't just going to constantly let teams convert third down. And after that Ole Miss game, that defense figured it out. They held A&M to 7. They held Georgia to 10. They held that high-power Oklahoma offense to 28 and held Clemson to 27. They knew how to hunker down. They had dogs, NFL players in that defense. I'm not seeing that on our defense. We don't have it. I don't know what we're going to do, Jordy.
Great call. Thank you for listening over in Houston, man. Can't disagree with anything that he's saying. I mean, that's a lot what we've been recognizing as well, and that's a good point of view from someone who is watching and feels very similarly. I think that's if you've watched LSU football long enough, you're starting to get the notion that it feels different. There's a different style. There's a different prospect here. One more phone call before we get out of here. Man, I cannot thank everybody for their participation this morning. We love opening up the phone lines. Love to have the interaction. Love to be here on Monday mornings, kind of giving you an opportunity and a platform to air out what you may be feeling. We take a chance to do that on Sunday, so don't forget about our Sunday shows if you want to go back and check that out. But a lot of what we talked about this morning is what we pointed out yesterday as well. I mean, look, it's not brain surgery. It's not, we're not putting a man on the moon here. I mean, you're talking football, and when you're talking some of the easy things of what can be done, I mean, we agree as a whole. I mean, simple things of playing a guy like Deshaun Womack. Come on, man, you got to get that guy out there, and you definitely don't want to sacrifice of what could be his future, right? Like, not like you're playing to keep people happy, but I mean, that's a big player for you now, and man, for the future of the program, that guy is going to mean a lot. Let's make sure that he's developing, that he's getting all of the coaching and all the developing that he needs, and all the while building his confidence, right? I mean, he goes out there and performs the 5 snaps that he did against Arkansas. He's got to be thinking all week, man, it's my time to shine. What's next?
They're going to get a snap this week, huh?
And then you go the next week and you don't log a snap. And I'm with the last caller saying like that it's a great sign of Deshaun Womack. He is constantly around the guys. He's constantly around the celebrations. He's always kind of picking guys up. I mean, you see that not only is he a dominant football player, he seems to be a pretty good kid. You know, a pretty great human being. Like that's what you win with. A guy that's, you know, supportive of the team, and then you give him his chance, and he's a game wrecker. So last call of the day from the Southern Regional Medical Center lines. We go here from our Click Here Digital Studios. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Have a take, don't suck.
Jordy, Bob in Shreveport, longtime caller.
Hey, Bob. What's on your mind?
Hey, man, look, brother, I appreciate your show so much. I hope today for this presser that they won't just lob softball questions at Kelly. He needs to stand up, man, and they need to ask the hard questions today. We don't need another CEO-esque condescending press conference. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. What would you ask, Bob? What question would you ask if you had the microphone today?
Hey, man, Harold, longtime caller, Shreveport. I hope today at that press conference that Kelly gets some hardball questions today.
Yeah,
we don't need these softball questions.
Yeah, no, I'm asking. What would you ask Kelly if you had the microphone? If you had a chance to ask him a question, what would you ask him?
I'd say your DBs look 2 or 3 steps slow. I watched the secondary in the second half, and I said, my God, they're so slow. That not only can't tackle, they can't keep up. And if I'm Woody, I'm getting out my Rolodex. I'm calling Corey Raymond. I'm saying, name your price, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for calling. Thank you for listening up there in North Louisiana, Bob.
Thank you, man.
Good call. Man, to the callers today, thank you all very much. Appreciate you being out there. Make sure and hit that like button, the share button, the comment button, as we will be here every morning, 7 to 9 a.m., taking your interaction. Tomorrow, Ja Eugene is going to be here at 7:30. We were also going to talk to our regulars each week of Brooke Kirchhofer of New Orleans.football. By the way, the Saints are no good offensively. They're terrible. And then we will also talk to Wilson Alexander in the second hour. We'll be reacting to the Monday presser over at LSU with Brian Kelly. So come back with us. Make sure and like, share, comment. We appreciate everybody for being here today. As a great show. We need some likes to get out of here. So make sure if you hadn't hit those thumbs up for the show. We appreciate everybody's interaction for getting involved. We'll be back with you tomorrow, 7 to 9 a.m., brought to you by RMB Builders. Have a great day.
Your favorite guests, we got him in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show. Come have. Hey, Chino, put my headphones up, bro. Right there. Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification. We about to go live. We got all your favorite guests. We got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show. Come have a good time. It's the hottest show around. We ain't got to flex. Call up G, we get it done. We earning our respect. Tell recruits to let us in. Where they going next? Throw up the L's. Now we lit. Band playing neck. From the boot to the east to the west coast. No matter where we at, we live. Mic'd up for show. Open up the phone lines. Come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show. Yeah, Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification. We about to go live. We got all your favorite guests. We got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show. Come have a good time.